Good afternoon and welcome to the June 12th, 2025 Economic Development and Housing Subcommittee meeting. I would like to call the meeting to order. And I'll go first to our City Attorney to please explain public comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the Subcommittee. For citizen comment, during citizen comment, members of the public may address the subcommittee for up to 3 minutes on issues of interest or concern to them. The Arizona Open Meeting Law permits the subcommittee members to listen to the comments, but prohibits members from discussing or acting on matters presented. Should there be a person who wants to comment on an agenda item, they may speak up to 2 minutes on agenda items to be discussed. Comments may be related to the agenda item and action being taken or considered by the subcommittee. The council or subcommittee and staff cannot discuss or comment on matters related to pending investigations or litigations. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. And next we will have our interpreter, Mario Barajas, introduce himself.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. Hello, once again, my name is Mario Barajas. I'll be serving as today's Spanish interpreter for the meeting. I'll now introduce myself to our Spanish speakers. Muy buenas tardes, yo soy Mario Barajas, voy a estar sirviendo como intérprete a los de habla hispana. Quisiera repasar brevemente con ustedes un par de puntos en los cuales les podrá ayudar a poder participar mejor y de esa manera poder escuchar la interpretación de la mejor manera posible. Primeramente queremos informarles de que si es que van a dar un comentario público, favor de hacerlo de una manera lenta y clara, de esa manera podemos interpretarles mejor. Y segundo, pueden dar todo su comentario completo y al final de que usted termine su comentario, el intérprete les va a interpretar sin necesidad de hacer pausas. Muchas gracias. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mario. I believe we do not have any public comments for the first section. Awesome. The first agenda item is approval of minutes from the May 28th, 2025 EDH meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the May 28, 2025 meeting minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Item 2 is on consent. Do I have a motion to approve the annual review and updates to the Neighborhood Services Department's code enforcement policy?
I will make a motion. I do want to note that I appreciate the discussion of trying to increase communication as part of the process. So with that, I move to approve.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
None opposed, so the motion passes unanimously. Congratulations on those updates. Items 3 and 4 are information only. They cover Head Start Birth to 5 monthly report for April and our City of Phoenix naloxone program update for March 2025 to May 2025. Do members have any questions on either of these programs? Okay. Thank you so much for those reports. Agenda item number 5 is our Phoenix Office of Innovation update. We will have Michael Hammett, the director, join us to provide us an update. Thank you, Michael, for joining us.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, it is an honor to be here to provide an update on the Office of Innovation. We launched the Office of Innovation in 2021, and this was a first of its kind for the City of Phoenix, and I was honored to be named the first Chief Innovation Officer in the City of Phoenix. Most medium and large cities have an Office of Innovation, Chief Innovation Officer, or an equivalent. When we established the office, we had 3 key areas of focus. The first was innovation, of course, piloting new technologies and new ideas, strategic use of data across the organization, and performance management, and also across the organization and the region. You'll hear me talk a lot about partnerships and collaboration. I believe that is the really foundation of what we do. You can do innovation in a silo and it can be effective, but to maximize its partnering and really with community at the center. This is our Innovate Phoenix Challenge. This is a cornerstone program of the office. We launched in 2023. We've had 5 challenges, 2 each year, and they focus on city priorities, priorities of council. And so we've had these focusing on air quality, heat mitigation and resilience to extreme heat, affordable housing, smart cities solutions. So those have cut across our challenges. 750 plus people have participated across the board, very diverse groups that have turned out. I want to mention Venture Cafe Phoenix. This is part of a cohort, global, and you'll find them in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, London, Berlin. Phoenix was the recipient of the most advancing and forward-moving venture cafe in the world. So that was a really nice accolade. This is powered by Maricopa Community Colleges, the Center for Entrepreneurial Innovation, and our Community and Economic Development Department as a founding sponsor that has kept the momentum. And Claudia Whitehead is a real asset to this work. The focus again is on community. It's community coming to the table and community moving forward ideas with the city, but also on their own. We've had individuals that have been hired by other participants for their startups. We've had ideas advance forward at the city, and products and businesses move forward that were sparked at these events. I'd like to show you a video from our last challenge, which was on May 15th. This was focused on smart cities, and it focused really on accessibility, active transportation, biking, walking, and also public spaces and where we could advance that. Devranya Dasi from the Communications Office and the team put this together.
So this is the 5th Venture Cafe City of Phoenix Hackathon.
It's an all-day hackathon where members of our community come together and they hack solutions to top city priorities. Today we're hacking solutions to smart cities, and we're focusing on 3 key areas: accessibility, public spaces, and transportation.
This is the first time we have about 60 participants coming together. We randomly assign them teams, and they work together as teams all day to hack on the problem. They do dry runs through their pitches, and then they pitch on stage at Venture Cafe tonight for a chance for cash prizes as well as audience choice.
Tonight, as a judge for the hackathon, I'm really looking toward seeing what the groups have outlined for accessibility for all types of disabilities in the community. So a smart city to me really means that it's accessible for everybody.
So we looked at how can we improve the public transportation system in Phoenix. And so what we looked at doing is essentially finding a way to collect and leverage data using AI technologies so that we can better service a wider range of people, provide better accessibility, and make buses more useful for people who live in Phoenix.
We have a project called Exit Queue Lighting, helping drivers understand like what lanes are going slow, which lanes are going fast, kind of preventing accidents, as well as just keeping the flow of traffic going. We've designed an app called Phoenix Moves that's going to incentivize people to get out and use the bike lanes, but more importantly, it's circularity in that businesses will give them rewards.
Community engagement is a very important component of our work as a city, and getting to do this in a hackathon setting is a unique opportunity to explore out-of-the-box solutions, things that we might not think about every day over in City Hall, or have the capacity to get really creative and dig into the opportunities out there.
This has been a fantastic partnership between the City of Phoenix and Venture Cafe. We've been able to implement some of the solutions that we've created here at the hackathon.
The City of Phoenix prioritizes innovation, and our Innovate Phoenix Challenge is an excellent opportunity to put this into practice, to see what we can create together as a community and make the lives better for all of our residents here in Phoenix.
Hopefully the video says it all. I loved hearing from Carlin and Charlotte, 2 of our participants at the latest Innovate Phoenix Challenge. What's really important is it's bringing together students. We have individuals who are here on a student visa that come in and say, I found my place here, I found my people, and that is really great to see. It's very diverse, and people bring all their different skill sets. We've had moms for climate action also come on board, and it's been great to have conversations. The outcomes after, so it's connecting to the community, bringing them to the table, but also what is happening behind the scenes and after the fact.
And if I could just interrupt real quick before you go on to the next slide, I believe that at Venture Capital tonight will be, or Venture Cafe, we will be hosting 6 companies from Taipei to hear some pitches from them. So very excited to learn more about what they'll be bringing us.
Madam Chair, council members, it is a powerhouse. And again, community and economic development set the course for that. And this is just really, we're lucky to have this in Phoenix, and it continues to grow.
Thank you.
Our chilled drinking water pilot project the spark came out of our first Innovate Phoenix Challenge in 2023. We have 6 units to date. The first 2 were outside of council chambers, City Hall, Roosevelt Park along the main bike path, so all strategic, data-informed, and community-driven. Community's been a part of this from the very beginning. Our newest is at Herberger Theater Center, that's with Phoenix Convention Center. And this last weekend, we had thousands of people at Fan Fusion, and we tracked 1,000 equivalent plastic bottle waters of water being delivered from just 3 units in downtown. So 6 additional are coming online in different phases. Burton Bar Library, Central Station, there will be one there, and that's a partnership with the developer and community and economic development to connect to the city project, purchase a city unit model that we've been using. And then we also have one at Homeless Solutions on 71st Avenue and others coming down the pike as well. Again, connected to community. Community asked, the city delivered with our partners, and right now 140,000 equivalent total plastic bottles of water without the plastic waste have been delivered. This is our latest in Desert West. This is Maryvale. And these, again, all of these are smart fountains. They have heat mitigation materials, technologies. It may look somewhat like an ordinary bottle filler. We've pivoted and changed the model, made a larger opening. Our residents asked for that for the larger bottles. So this is out there right now. And what's important is community said, and our residents said, we won't use them if they don't feel clean and we don't feel like they're well maintained. And that's our partnership with Downtown Phoenix Inc. in the core, and Hands on Greater Phoenix, partnering with our Parks Department and community volunteers to keep this one shining bright. Piloting new technologies is one of the most exciting things we're doing. On the left is our in situ, it's AR, augmented reality. And with the click of a smartphone, a resident can see the future of what's happening in Phoenix. This is the Gurusel housing community in Edison Eastlake. And we have others coming online. We have the bridge near the Rio Salado and other GeoBond funded projects that we're looking to incorporate. It's community engagement, again, at the touch of the fingertip, and it can be at any phase of development. So this one in particular was already approved with community input. At the top, you'll see the Nowie Smart Sensor. That came out of the Innovate Phoenix Challenge. We've connected them to our water systems, and they tell us how much water is being dispersed, when are people using it, and we're finding at early hours and late hours, so during commutes. And where does it make most sense to place it? Is one performing better than others? I'll tell you, the one right outside council chambers is our number 1. And then our number 2 and 3 would be Roosevelt and City Hall. And Herberger's brand new. We believe that one's going to exceed expectations. And Desert West, we're waiting to hook up the monitoring, so we'll have that shortly. This also can be connected to landscaping, whole building, and restrooms. So it's not just this pilot, but what it could do beyond that. Heat mitigation, the coating you see below here, that is a product called Encoat. I don't want to sound like a broken record. It came out of the Innovate Phoenix Challenge. We discovered this company. It was a very small startup. They tested, evaluated, and we found that the heat gain on the unit was less with this coating. We've connected this individual, Ashe, to the Bloomberg Philanthropies Arts Challenge, the Sombra project, and he was able to implement some of the product on those units. So again, all of this is technology, but it's really to serve the community. People first, technology to serve. Bloomberg Philanthropies. We've had 10 years of great relationships with Bloomberg Philanthropies. They helped launch Love Your Block and Neighborhood Services, and we've participated in 2 mayor's challenges. The most recent, we were awarded one of 15 cities to receive $1 million. This started as a group across the city. It was streets, IT, human services, CED, innovation, everyone coming together to spark this idea to use data to connect job seekers to employment and organizations that were hiring. So this took place, and I'm happy to say in the last 2 years, Community and Economic Development took the driver's seat. We all stepped off the bus, and they've taken this to really great success. It's a global success, and it will have implications for Phoenix and beyond. And the Public Arts Challenge, that is the one that has art implemented in each of the areas of the city of Phoenix. We have, I believe, 8 to 9 projects. Arts and Culture is leading this. Heat and Innovation are strategic partners. This has been a lot of fun to look at innovative ways to create temporary shade and use art for it. So this has been a really good outcome and another investment from Bloomberg. Bloomberg Center for Public Innovation, that's the house for all of the things that Bloomberg uses to work with cities. I'm part of a cohort of 100 chief innovation officers around the world. We share best practices. I tell them what you all are doing really well, and they share what they're doing well, and we all learn from each other. And a lot of that is, again, connected to community. This all is technology, system change, and implementing new ideas for community. Bloomberg Associates is the consulting arm. We're one of the only cities in the US that's participating with them. We've completed 3 years, 17,000 plus hours they've contributed, and they've worked across the city with cohorts in different departments, 27 completed initiatives. That's everything from the Shade Phoenix Plan to Sports and Events Commission, Green Stormwater Infrastructure, and a lot of work with workforce development and Chris Mackey's team in community and economic development, including the recent Innovation 27, which was a huge success, and that showed partnership and collaboration at the highest level, and Bloomberg, we're happy to say, was a part of that. Homeless Solutions is working very closely with them, as well as Climate Action moving forward, and all of these projects are city priorities, council priorities, and community impacts. We are a smart city. We're proud to be a smart city, but that is not a destination, it's a journey. It incorporates data and technology, but really in the background. So we say it's not a Tom Cruise movie, though we love those. With LED screens and all of that, it's embedded into our natural environment. And so we're advancing that to use technology, but put people first and really have those impacts for our community. Connected Phoenix is a partner with us. I'm really happy to be on the Connected Executive Leadership Team, and it's moving the region as a smart region. And that's everybody collaborating together. It's GPEC, ASU, all of our cities around our region. We've had 2 connected events, and we've had the chance to showcase a lot of the great work the city is doing, including the recent Park Phoenix app website that Convention Center put together, our AI stormwater monitoring system that Water Services put together. So we're showcasing this great work. I want to mention Nicole Husser. She's a project manager behind the scenes, but working with everybody. She has a home in innovation, and she is doing amazing things. We're happy she's on board after 3 years. And again, all of this, it's putting technology to work for our residents. We are one of only 3 cities in the world to have achieved platinum level What Works City certification. This is now a global standard for well-managed, data-driven cities. 3 cities, and one of them is New York, one of them is Phoenix, and one of them is our neighbors in Tempe. So We work as a region to all work together and support each other. So we have more certified cities than any other region in the world. We also participate and lead Valley Benchmark Cities, which is a performance-based consortium of cities and towns working with ASU to improve performance at cities and towns in our region. We've recently just placed the trend report out for public viewing. This was, again, ASU working with all of our cities, and that's available on phoenix.gov. And our city manager's performance dashboard. This year, we were really happy to launch 2.0 of the dashboard. Our city manager launched it with the idea of continuous improvement and to show our residents, our council, staff, it's a quick snapshot of the health of our city and our performance toward goals. We now have 35 additional metrics. You'll see many more in homeless solutions. They have their own section, as well as our GEO bond funding, and many others on there that now bring the total to 170 key performance indicators. 40,000 people have visited from the US and around the world. Our friends from the Netherlands, Australia, Canada, and France regularly stop by. So we love to kind of watch that traction. And again, this is about the community, and this is about telling the story of what is happening. And it's collaboration. Ricky Duran from my office leads this with Natasha Fenner from ITS, but every department touches this, and we meet regularly and have great sessions. And that really brings us to the end of this. So I just wanted to reiterate that we're really focused on innovation and piloting, performance management, and also advancing strategic data with collaboration and residents at the center of all we do. And I just want to thank you all for your support from the beginning and your support in helping us advance this for Phoenix and our residents.
Thank you so much, Michael, for the presentation today. Do my fellow committee members have any questions or comments? Councilwoman Hodge Washington? Oh, Councilwoman Stark.
Okay. Well, this is more in the way of a comment. Michael also sits on our work group on accessibility issues, and you have really brought a lot of what you're doing with the Cafe Venture, and I really appreciate it. Some creative ideas have come out of it. And I think there will probably be more to come. And we've still got a lot of work to do. And I hope the next time you have the think tank together that maybe I can attend, because I'm sure I want to be a sponge and learn and get some other ideas for our work group. But I do appreciate what your office is doing. There's a lot of significant issues going on in our city, and I must say we really are very innovative and creative in the way we're tackling them, and I know a lot of it is because of your office, Michael, so thank you, and thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Councilwoman Hodge Washington.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I wanted to start off by thanking the Office of Innovation for your continued leadership and creativity in this space. Your team is doing an exceptional job, and I'm a huge fan of Innovate Phoenix initiative and the way it brings together departments, partners, and the community to tackle real challenges with smart solutions. Wanted to highlight a couple of things. The Chilled Water Initiative, I wanted to just talk a little bit and ask about how, can your team share how future locations are being selected? And is there an opportunity for council input or more community input? Because I have a few suggestions just based on some of the feedback that I've heard from our community members. For example, at the light rail opening on Saturday, an individual came up to me and was talking about some of the challenges. He's an unsheltered individual, and he talked about some of the challenges that happen when you can't go into a business and ask for water anymore. Some of them are not being receptive to them. So just things like that, I just wanted to see if there's still an opportunity to provide some insight into additional locations.
Madam Chair, Councilwoman Hodge Washington, thank you so much for that. And this has been one of the most data-driven at the front end and throughout the process, and it continues. So your input on this, your residents, is always welcome. There's no end to this. What I will say is we started with a data tool that really took a bunch of different data sets together so that we could direct our efforts as a guide. But we also did surveying at the front end in Spanish, in person, online, and we just released another survey that lets us go into each council district too. It's through the Qualtrics platform, and we're able to understand better what each unique district has in mind. But some of the best input will be coming from our council members and your offices. We have limited funding right now. We've looked at additional grant funding. We've actually secured grant funding. So strategically, we're moving forward, and each location will incorporate your feedback.
Well, thank you for that. I neglected to acknowledge that the effectiveness of the program, or how it's being appreciated by our community, from him to take time out of a celebration to talk about the impact of the chilled water stations, and his advocacy for more, I think, is a testament to the fact that, one, it's truly community driven, and that our efforts are making an impact in our community, especially to what I would consider the most vulnerable. And I just wanted to commend you guys for that work. One of the items that I guess I wanted to take also a second to brag about is the Hive. 2 of the Hives were opened under the Office of Innovation in District 8, and these are providing access points for technology for our community members. So they give them access to things like iPads, 3D printers, laptops, and to me, what I think most importantly, they have trained digital navigators who can help residents learn digital skills, apply for jobs, and get connected to our modern economy. And I just wanted to say that is something that you should definitely highlight, because it is making a difference when it comes to providing access. We have seniors that are now having ability to log into their accounts and things that they otherwise wouldn't be able to. I'm also a fan of the venture cafes. I will be joining the vice mayor tonight as we talk to some of our delegation. I think we've just been kind of leading the way in using our community input and data to help create solutions to problems. As you probably gathered, I love information. I like data. It helps me to drive and make decisions. So this is truly helpful. The city manager's dashboard, I think, helps us make great strides into transparency for our community. And I was wondering, how do we provide our community with an opportunity to say, these are additional things we would like to see on our city manager's dashboard?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Councilwoman Hodge, Washington. That is something that's important to the city manager as well. So throughout the process of particularly this 2.0, we have gone out with surveying to community, and we received great response and really good ideas. Community really, and our residents and businesses really know what they want to see. But we'd love to have conversations. We'd love to come out to a coffee chat. Again, this is a journey, not a destination. We have feedback loops online, but we also have been really trying to reach out, especially something like data. Data can be dry, and the whole point of this is to visualize it in a way that makes sense. And so it's in a way that makes sense, and part of that is having residents tell us, so we can learn together and make changes.
No, that's excellent. And then the other thing on the data, I've raised this before, I just wanted to keep it in our back of our mind, is sometimes the data is not captured throughout the same cadence. It's not reported on the city manager's dashboard in the same cadence. So sometimes one is more current, some may be 6 months behind, some may be 1 year behind. And I realize that's because of how we capture the data. But I don't know if there's any steps or any plans to help integrate this so it's a more cohesive and apples to apples comparison of data sometimes.
Thank you. That is a great question. And that is something that we've been working on through this evolution. And you will see changes. And some of that is being more transparent in terms of when the data is available. If we have a third party related to our transit data, we note that on there that there's a delay of a month or a cycle. We're moving towards keeping consistency, whether it be fiscal year or calendar year. A lot of that are best practices. And we look forward to continuing to do this more, and any feedback around that as well. It is a lot to manage, and this is the entire team's, our innovation office, but also our data liaisons in every department. And so we will keep that top of mind as we continue to move forward.
Thank you for that. Again, just a great job overall. I mean, we've seen recently, well, not recently, we've continued to see the impact of the Office of Innovation, such as the things as our mobile career units that you guys have helped us, Bloomberg helped us to implement and help provide opportunities through our district and the chilled water. So I just want to say thank you for the great work and creativity that you help bring to our city. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, members. And I'll just say ditto. Thank you for the presentation today, but thank you for all the incredible work and collaboration with our community members, our businesses, our other, governmental entities. So keep doing the great work that you're doing and helping to let Phoenix lead the way in this area. So.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. I really appreciate your support and direction.
Wonderful. Thank you. And we will go to our next item. It is the Economic Development Review of fiscal year 2024-25 and our work plan for the upcoming fiscal year. And joining us is Christine Mackey, our Community and Economic Development Director, Zandon Keating, a Deputy Community and Economic Development Director, Nathan Wright, also a Deputy Community and Economic Development Director, Lisetta Hogans, our third Deputy Community and Economic Development Director, and then Gretchen Wolf, our Special Projects Administrator. We might need a bigger table next time you all come to the meeting, but I do appreciate you all being here and telling us about the good work that's been going on in Phoenix and how that will continue into the next year. So take it away.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, thank you so much for having us here today. We're excited to be asked to give an overview of the outcomes of all of the work that you directed and guided this past year. And we were a little surprised to find out that we ended up with a slide deck of 81 projects that we're going to move through quickly, I promise. We won't be here at 3 o'clock and as we look through this. So we thank you for this opportunity. Also, your leadership and your guidance as we look at our work activity for 25-26. As we get to those slides, you'll see a number of items that we've discussed, that you've brought to our attention and we've discussed intimately. We have our hits, we call them our hit squad, here with us right now to go over the projects they've done. But in our audience is our amazing team, Pam Lindley. She leads our business retention and expansion programs. Rick Gerard is our assistant protocol program administrator. Greg Bach is our marketing manager. Athena Sanchez is our communications manager. If I missed anyone, I apologize, but we're all here. So if there are questions that don't relate to us, the Smarter Than Us team are sitting here in the audience ready to go over this with you. So gonna go over for our audience just a little bit about how we brag about Phoenix when we're out working nationally and internationally. As we know, we are the 5th largest city in the country, but I think people forget it's New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Houston, and then Phoenix. We have become a economic development and jobs generating powerhouse across the country. 1.6 million citizens. We're a very large city. When you think about our 517 square miles, we're 70% built out. We can still fit 2 cities of Chandler or 2 cities of Gilbert in the land that we've not built on yet. As we look forward, our demographics are incredibly strong. Our labor force is nearly 1 million people, 2.6 million in the region. That's critically important as people are looking at moving forward and where they place their businesses. I think the number that especially Lisetta and I like to brag about the most is the bottom right-hand corner, our citizens with some college. If you go back to the 2010 census, moving forward, and this is from the 2020 census, we had 53% of our citizens with some college in 2010, and today we're 67%. And I think that's indicative of the work that you've directed us to do in bringing new companies and diversifying the economy, in bringing great entertainment venues and a multitude of places that people want to live. We are kind of the darling of where people want to come today. If we look at our economic strengths, what are those things that Phoenix does better than our peers across the country? Incredibly favorable business environment. You all work diligently with us. You're on prospect trips. You are pitching with our prospects. You're working to remove all the red tape and barriers. As I mentioned, that talented and diverse workforce, that's the thing that we can't fake. That's the thing that companies have realized that they have to have or they're not moving forward. We look at our entrepreneurship, lots of startup companies, lots of creativity, lots of people with amazing ideas. a really livable city. We have two of the country's largest parks in South Mountain and North Mountain. We have great restaurants, great retail. We have housing stock for all people, great public schools, libraries, aquatic facilities, everything that families are looking for. Our natural resources are abundant. You and our water department, our planning department, all our departments have worked diligently to protect and ensure that our water and our power is here to serve for another 200 years here in Phoenix. A stable operating environment. Our government doesn't change over. We don't have turmoil. We're, I dare I say, pretty predictable here in the city of Phoenix with our projects, but we're absolutely located in the perfect position in the Western United States. We don't change our time zones, 8 hours from LA, 8 hours from San Francisco, 8 hours from Texas. We call this our bragging slide. Here's just a few logos of the companies that you've helped us locate here in Phoenix and the areas of our targeted focus, which really is advanced manufacturing, it's financial technologies and financial services, really startup and new technologies, whether it is advanced air mobility, whether it is autonomous vehicles, whether it's in solar or in others. Of course, our international trade we'll talk about more in depth. Our bio and life sciences, as Vice Mayor mentioned, Claudia Whitehead will be tonight at Venture Cafe. Claudia couldn't be here today because she's with the Taiwanese delegation now, touring them for sites around Phoenix. And then, of course, in information technology. If you look at our results to date, this was through the end of May, so we still have 30 days to do you proud before we wrap everything up this year. With our strategic plan that you created for us last year, we have almost 10,500 new jobs added. It's the second highest for us in the last 10 years. 63,000 job seekers were assisted. We had more than 200 recruitment and hiring events, $21 billion in new capital investment. We're missing a 4 on front of jobs retained, 498 jobs retained. As we had 98, we were really working hard. And nearly 700 business and retention visits. We didn't get here, as my mom used to say when I was young, you don't raise turnips to get sweet potatoes. And so the strategy that the state of Arizona and where we've gone and your guidance and your direction has got us where we are today. If we look at our past, for those of you who grow up here, we all know the 5 C's, cattle, copper, cotton, citrus, and climate. We lovingly today say we've added a 6th C, which is chips. If we look to our economy, where it is today, lots of focus in biosciences and healthcare, high tech, IT, manufacturing, as I've mentioned. But as Wayne Gretzky always said, we're not staying where we're at, we're skating to where the puck's going to go. We're working on companies in quantum computing, implantable devices, wearable devices, human carry drones, human delivery drones. We're working in artificial intelligence and companies that are moving in cutting edge technologies. I would argue that what we've seen in the diversification of our economy and the advancement of our economy will be dwarfed from the dawn of Phoenix to today, will be dwarfed over the next 10 years with what will happen in our economy. If we look at our major investments, this was not done. This was very intentional. This was very thought-provoking movement forward. In the late 1940s, we had a major military investment with our Air Force bases and our other military bases. There was, following World War II, a mandate that was handed down, no sensitive assets could be near the coast, so they couldn't be bombed. Our federal delegation went after those. They took advantage of it. They were very thoughtful in what they went after, and they went after companies in technology and aerospace. We attracted a little company called Galvin Electronics that became Motorola. A 3-year-old startup company came to Phoenix in 1970 called Intel. Sperry became Honeywell. Goodrich became Northrop Grumman. All of these companies moved along tremendously, but that would not have happened without the focus on our infrastructure. The Central Arizona project was an amazing feat of engineering marvel to be able to move forward, and our power grid is reliable, second to none in reliability, with 99.9% uptime. If we look at our attractions, investment, and our development, I'm going to hand it over to Zandon Keating to walk through growth in the Central City. Zandon?
Thank you, Chris. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, So we're still seeing very significant growth in Central City and downtown Phoenix. We still have about 3,000 units currently under construction and another 3,300 units in pre-development as they're going through their efforts, their planning efforts and design and that sort of thing. Also significant, and that's just in downtown Phoenix alone. Also significant growth within what we call transit-oriented communities, the old TOD, along our light rail lines, essentially almost $11 billion in investments in our TOC community. So pretty significant, and almost $8 million of that was private investment. So there's been many recent completions in downtown Phoenix from the Player 15 corporate headquarters. We've had 2 hotels open within the last 12 to 18 months, and 4 pretty significant residential buildings as well. Some of the current projects that we're continuing to work on, Central Station is nearing completion. As you know, this was a redevelopment of the city's transit center. We'll have residential, office, as well as pretty significant retail on the ground floor. LG Development is just to the northeast of Central Station. It's a 29-story residential building. We'll also have very significant retail on the ground floor. It's also nearing completion. Recently topped out was Ray Phoenix at Central and Pierce. This building, you'll notice it's green. The inspiration behind the building was to make it look like a tree. They wanted to green downtown Phoenix, and so that's where the green comes from. It's going to have ground floor retail right along Central Avenue as well. Saya at First and McKinley, another very significant project in downtown Phoenix. It's nearing completion. It included the preservation of a historic building that was incorporated into the design of the building. Astra, we're expecting that to start construction later this year. As you know, this is planned to include the new tallest building in the state of Arizona, 2-phase project, mixed use, with just about everything that you could want out of a mixed-use project: residential, hotel, office, as well as retail. The new hotel recently rebranded. They've been working on the name for a number of years. This is at Central and Adams. This was a city-owned parcel that we've been working on for a few years. We love watching this crane. We can see the crane from our offices swinging around as it's under construction and expected to open in 2027. The Pemberton, if you haven't been yet, this is a historic house in the Roosevelt neighborhood. You see the sort of different neighborhoods, sub-neighborhoods that they have within the complex. Each one of those is like its own experiential art museum. So I highly recommend checking that out. They just opened that a couple months ago. Carry on, we like to say this is really what put us on the cool map. There's some very cool stuff in downtown Phoenix. This is one that is just getting nationwide press on how cool it is. It's modeled after a 1970s jumbo jet. The cabin is, when you get your reservation, you get plane tickets. You don't actually get a reservation. You take those plane tickets in, and then you go on a 90-minute journey. Right now it's going from San Francisco to Mexico City. Phoenix Forge just announced an expansion. This is a maker space that's located at 6th Avenue in Van Buren. It's operated by the Gateway Community College, but it's open to students and community. It opened right in the middle of the pandemic, but they have over 1,700 active members. Just outside of the downtown core, it's notable that U-Haul recently bought the old CenturyLink Tower, which is the largest tower outside of downtown Phoenix in the state of Arizona, for their new corporate headquarters. They're keeping their existing facilities, but they're expanding into the CenturyLink building. Park Central has also seen significant growth in just this year. We've been talking about the great things that have happened there over the last several years, but this year they experienced their first graduating class out of Creighton Medical School. 2 new hotels opened on the property. Barrows is expanding into some new lab space, and Dress for Success just announced that they were moving their headquarters to Park Central. We also, as you know, in April of this year, we now have an updated downtown redevelopment area plan. It was adopted by City Council in April of this year to give us better direction on how to undergo redevelopment efforts within the downtown area. Another planning effort is the downtown parking study that we've been working on. It was just recently presented to this subcommittee. It gives us guidance on the many strategies that we should be focusing on for, to really optimize parking within downtown Phoenix and make sure that we're getting the best out of the assets that we have today. The entertainment district is an ongoing effort that we've been working on. We hope to have a draft very shortly of the study that's going to come out of that. What we're aiming to do with that is give us some strategies, give the city some strategies to work on to really boost the entertainment options around the Phoenix Convention Center. What we've heard from studies out of the Convention Center is they really want Convention Center delegates to walk out the door and see all of the great entertainment, right there, right at the doorstep. We know it's in downtown Phoenix. We live here. We use all the entertainment that's in downtown. But we're using this study is to really show us where that entertainment is. Now, I'm going to pass to Nathan Wright to talk about Rio Reimagined and various other projects.
Thanks, Sandon. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. Rio Reimagined, it's a multi-department, multi-agency effort to really redevelop the river. Arizona State University is a big part of this, and as has been well documented, we were the first department to spend our general obligation bond funds, and we acquired about 29.5 acres. It has a current tenant until 2027, but over the next couple of years, there will be public meetings. We will reach out to the community and work towards a request for proposals for a mixed-use project. Heading to North Phoenix now. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. It's amazing to think about just 5 years ago, this was all vacant land. Now we have these world-class chip fabrication plants. They're fabricating 3-4 nanometer technology. The first one is opened here very recently. The second fab is nearing completion, and the third fab is under construction. 6,000 jobs, $65 billion in capital investment, and another $100 billion was announced here recently in March. The yields are on par with what they're seeing in Taiwan, giving them great confidence in moving forward here in the United States. Just the largest private investment in United States history. It's amazing. It's a hub of industry in the Southwest. We'll continue to see more and more development around it. And I'll move quickly through this because we've seen this recently. But Biscuit Flats, the area that we were just talking about, just wide open just a few short years ago, 12,000 acres. TSMC with their 1,200 acres that they purchased will continue to build out. And then you have Halo Vista, which will be breaking ground here at the end of this calendar year. We'll continue to see more and more state land auctions over this coming year and in early next year. We'll walk you through the Halo Vista development, which is very exciting. We're going to be showcasing it across the country and the world over the next year at Semicon Taiwan and also here in Phoenix in October. 12 million square feet of industrial build-to-suit property here, kind of going across the west and northern half of where TSMC is. You have 3.5 million square feet of flex tech and office, great for R&D. We think chip design would be great a fit here, as well as other lab space. We have 500,000 square feet of destination retail, major destination retailers and restaurants supporting all the workers that will be here. And then an auto mall, which is great for the city. We're excited for that, and there has been some great movement in that area. We also have residential, medical, and educational uses here in the southeast corner of the property. So we'll continue to see growth, like I said, breaking ground later this year. They're working on their master plans at this time. And that's totaling up to 30 million square feet of development and the 62,000 jobs, very conservative. Some would say 80,000 to 100,000 jobs at full build out. And we continue to see this whole area grow. Deer Valley Airport has just become a hub of advanced manufacturing. A lot of suppliers for TSMC have gone here, but we're seeing, Chris calls it the Nordstrom effect, where companies are coming with no relation to the semiconductor industry, and they're coming to Deer Valley, so it's very exciting activity. Moving to more retail, to PV Mall. We have Councilwoman Stark here in this picture. This was a great day that we had out there. Groundbreaking. Red, one of our best development partners in the city, working on redeveloping this mall, breaking it up. There's been some great announcements. As we know, Whole Foods, Phil lives near there. He says it's the best Whole Foods he's ever been to. Sephora, Frost, Hawaiian Brothers, The Melt, just great places to go today. And then coming soon, you have Lifetime Fitness, Lifetime Living, Federal Pizza, many other options here. And of course, the one that we really like to talk about, the Fender corporate headquarters under construction. The Metropolitan, the former Metro Center. Yeah, go ahead.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, I'd just like to call attention to the driver in the picture on the middle with the claw that's attacking the building. That would be our very own Vice Mayor O'Brien, who is driving that activity. I kid you not, that is her in the seat taking the first whack at the building.
I am getting some guidance and direction from a professional there, because I was very concerned about not messing up. But I will tell you, it is most definitely in one of the top 5 things I've gotten to do while being on council, is taking a bite out of Dillard's.
The master plan, great partners with Concord, Wilshire, and Diversified Partners, working on 1,100 townhouse, multifamily, residential units here, a public plaza, event, gathering space, up to almost $1 billion investment on this property. Here's just a project map showing just opening up that mall, which is a trend and something that we've worked hard to do at several malls across the city. Here's some of the event and gathering space that'll be great for the community. It'll be a destination place. The retail that they're working on is definitely going to be destination oriented. And there's more. Desert Ridge, Paradise Ridge. This was a great day we had recently at the Sprouts grand opening. Councilman Waring and Mayor Gallego. This is really, I'll go back, this is really corporate headquarters row here. You see a number of amazing employers along this area: Discount Tire, Republic Services, American Express, Mayo Clinic. It goes on, and more land to develop in this area. Some of the recent announcements: Republic Services, they'll be open later this year. The hotel just broke ground, I think, a couple weeks after Sprouts, and then Sprouts is under construction, finishing in 2026. Then IKEA, it's their small store. It's you don't spend the entire day lost in the store, you just spend half a day, and they are the great treats that you get when you exit too, I understand. So it's about a 75,000 square foot existing building that they redeveloped, and it is open. They're Cactus and Tatum.
Councilwoman Stark, you finally get to vindicate me for losing IKEA to Tempe back in my early days, so I appreciate all of your help in getting them and the Swedish meatballs.
Back down to the South Mountain Technology Corridor in Levine and Estrella. We have some great announcements recently. It's really turning into an entertainment destination. Fat Cats just announced at the Levine Town Center, and across the street, the Rush Funplex, another destination type entertainment concept. We have a great employer there with United Foods International, and there's some additional land that we're working on in the area with the Gila Foothills. You guys have heard a lot of discussion recently on their PUD and with the hospital, auto mall, and resort, and we're making great progress in those areas.
And Councilman Hodge Washington, as you know, you're working closely with us on the resort that we've promised. So we have new meetings set up for that activity and feel really good about where we're going to get on Gila Foothills.
Over to
Looking forward to hearing more, to seeing more on this, because it's something that our community advocated for, and we ensured it was incorporated into our PUD on this. So thank you.
And over to Biltmore, another developer that we've worked very closely with was Red again, working on just reimagining the Biltmore, bringing in a new tenant mix, bringing it back to its, destination retail that it used to be. And turning it back over to Zandon here.
Thank you, Nate. So we're going to talk a little bit about all the bioscience. It's one of our core industries here in Phoenix, the life sciences industry. So we've seen, as you can see, unprecedented growth and investment within this industry. 6.7 billion in capital investment, 8 million square feet of new primary facilities. And in Phoenix, we don't count some of there's a lot of back office, stuff, support staff, that sort of thing. We don't count any of that towards our square footage. We only count primary facilities, and 14,000 new jobs. And these are in the life sciences industry. They're healthcare, they're scientists, they're research. These are really high quality jobs. We're nationally ranked in a number of ways. We're number one for life science biomedical graduate growth rate, 90% growth rate here in Phoenix. Number 7 in total employment growth, number 11 in R&D employment growth, and we're now a top 20 market in the industry. So when we first started the bio industry here in Phoenix many years ago, we didn't really have any hub. We started with the PBC in downtown Phoenix. We now have really 4 hubs with the Desert Oasis at Desert Ridge, the Phoenix Medical Corridor in Midtown, of course the PBC, Phoenix Bioscience Core in downtown Phoenix, and then the Phoenix Cotton Center in East Phoenix south of the airport. This is critical. We are going next week actually to Bio International, and we're able to brag about the fact that we have these four locations. We're part of our mission while we're there is to sell Phoenix and to try to bring companies into the market, and knowing that there are all these different places that they can land and different different strengths in those different places and different ways that they might fit for the different companies really helps our sales message while we're there. So getting specifically into Desert Oasis, Mayo just recently announced a $1.9 billion expansion, 1.5 million additional square feet to their facility. They have a 450-acre campus in Desert Ridge, as you know. And of course, we are still working on Discovery Oasis. It's a 120-acre campus just north of Mayo that Mayo is really a key partner in developing. ASU just recently announced that they are going to be locating their ASU Health headquarters in downtown Phoenix. This is part of the creation of the new medical school. The medical school will temporarily be located at the Mercado, but they're going to locate a health headquarters, which is going to have offices for all of their schools at the corner of 4th Street and Fillmore in downtown Phoenix on the PBC. University of Arizona is also working on the Center for Advanced Molecular and Immunological Therapies, also known as CAMI. It's a new 200,000 square foot building that's currently under construction at 7th Street and Fillmore. And I'm going to turn it to Chris to talk about the international activity.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, as you know, our international activity is incredibly strong. 10 years ago, 2% of our book of business came from internationally related companies. Today, it's 35%. Phoenix has moved from not even in the top 100 to number 6 in places where foreign investors want to place their money. Our international activity, of course, our Phoenix sister cities has become an economic development international powerhouse. I can't speak enough as to how valuable it is for us to have their boards, their commissions, their connectivity into our 11 sister cities that help us with our economic development efforts and strategies. They just do an incredible job at moving us forward. Of course, we have 11 sister cities, as I mentioned. The things that we've done that really make our companies feel welcome isn't just getting them into the market, but it's making them feel welcome when they get here. It is the Double 10 celebration that will now be in its 5th year in West Phoenix this year. Our Mayor's International that brings in activity and interest from all over the country. We hosted our second successful Phoenix Global Forum this past May. We'll have number 3 in 2026. Rick Gerard is here, and Rick leads these efforts. This past year alone, he hosted 133 delegates from 37 countries, and you all gave of your time and your efforts and met with these individuals to make them feel welcome here in Phoenix. On our sister city side, we have trade delegations where we have a very targeted focus. We hone in on companies that we look for and go meet with them. Most recently, Vice Mayor and I were in Taiwan, met with some incredible companies that were there a couple of weeks ago, and they are now here today and are touring Phoenix with us here today. We have a delegation that'll be led by Councilman Robinson into Germany and France later this year, and a delegation led by Councilwoman Stark later this year into Prague on the semiconductor and advanced manufacturing side. And of course, you can't go without saying for our Hermosillo office, it does an incredible job. Our partnership in Mexico. Yesterday, we had a USMCA event at the Sheraton with more than 150 people in attendance working on ways to continue to expand our activity in Mexico. I'm going to pass it over now to Phil Bradstock, our film commissioner, to give you an overview of film. And I promise, Vice Mayor, we're getting very close to ending.
And that's fine. I just wanted to offer my apologies, Mr. Bradstock, for not introducing you. You were not on my agenda. So please, thank you for joining us today. And we look
He's
forward
our
to hearing what
surprise.
you have to say.
Well, thank you very much. So the Phoenix Film Office turned 50 years old this year, and we had two major changes to the office. With the mayor and council's support, we adjusted our permitting fees, which had not been touched since 1995, to make them much more in line with other major cities. And we also received approval for new permitting software because we were using antiquated equipment from 1998 and kind of patching together a bunch of programs. You see on your screen here a display, this is our economic impact report from 2024 calendar year. We had a total of just over 29.1 million in spending, over 77 projects, creating looks like just about 5,000 jobs here locally for the residents here in Greater Phoenix area. And also when we get these numbers, we send out surveys. So these are direct numbers that are being reported to the film office. And we also survey all the local production companies every year. We're in the midst right now of our year-end, fiscal year-end surveys. So we'll have that final report published in early July. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor, members of the subcommittee. I'm happy to share with you about our mobile career unit. We're going to go over some of the things that have been going on in our business and workforce division here. So, as you all know, our mobile career unit has been a proven practice. It's something that we launched in 2022 with our new RV that we just had a ribbon cutting for back in February. We have been on our way. Over the summer, staff and I are planning to get trained because we have to be able to know how to drive this thing, right? So our 38-foot state-of-the-art RV is here, and we're making waves with it. It definitely has a lot of advanced technology inside of it where people can come and actually apply for jobs and get assistance with their resume. We could not do this without our strategic partners. We have a lot of great relationships with a lot of the city departments here in our lovely municipality, as well as other employer partners in the community. But we couldn't do this without the help of our libraries, as well as our community-based organizations. It's because of those organizations coming to our events that people are able to receive the wraparound services that they need whenever they're coming to our hiring events. So as of today, I actually have on the screen here that we've had 463 contingent offers, and I was just messaged by my program manager, Deb Furlong, who's in the audience here, that we had an additional 10 more hires as of yesterday at our last MCU event. And I just want to say thank you so much, Councilwoman Hodge-Washington, for your support with the Mobile Career Unit. We were able to have a youth-focused event in your district 2 weeks ago, and there we were able to have about 12 hires for 16 to 24-year-olds. And now I'm going to dive into our apprenticeship programs. Our Phoenix Business and Workforce Development Board is the first board in the nation to actually become a registered apprenticeship sponsor in the semiconductor industry. By launching our first apprenticeship program in facilities technician, we've been able to work directly with TSMC as our first employer partner to establish this career pathway for people to get into their pipeline of talent. Becoming a sponsor was a major milestone for us. As I shared, it's not something that any other board has ever done in this industry. And so it really allows us to directly support employers in growing their talent, as well as providing state-of-the-art and high-wage job opportunities for our residents in Phoenix. So we've been able to expand our apprenticeship programs. I have to say, the first one we did, we were so excited. We were here, Chris says, until midnight, waiting to sign the document so that we can get our first apprenticeship underway. And it was through that work that we were able to expand 2 more apprenticeship programs. So now we're not just a sponsor of 1, we're a sponsor of 3 in all. We leveraged our relationships with the community college partners, Estrella Community College, as well as Rio and Northern NAU, Northern Arizona University. We're really trying and striving to partner with Westmac because we want to make sure that our apprenticeship programs align with the training that they're doing for their students as well.
And just for clarification, for those who don't know amongst our community, what is Westmac?
Oh, yes. Westmac is a career and technical education school for high schoolers as well as adults. And so they have a lot of great relationships with the other high schools in our community to be able to help skill youth and young adults as they're transitioning out of high school into post-secondary.
Thank you.
Yep. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Chris to talk about Innovation 27. Oh, to Gretchen? Okay, I'm passing it to Gretchen for. Okay. I'm going to talk about Innovation 27 next. So our soon-to-be state-of-the-art Innovation 27 building is underway. Thank you all for coming to attend our groundbreaking. That was so exciting. We've been working really closely with Gensler and Chase and of course, our community partners, our community colleges, to get this state-of-the-art workforce and education training center underway. There's more to come. We are able to actually start the construction on it, which is why we had the groundbreaking. So we're really excited about that, and we're working really closely with our education partners to discuss programming, as well as our council members in that area as well. And with that, I will pass it over to Gretchen Wolf.
Now I'm willing to take it. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. So in May 2020, Councilwoman Pastor assembled key partners to address the digital divide, which was highlighted by the pandemic but existed beforehand. Fast forward 5 years and the Phoenix Tech equipment is in 4 school districts at 2 community colleges, providing free Wi-Fi to students to create digital equity, as well as provide easy access to educational opportunities. With that, I'll hand it back to Chris.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, we've talked about all that we've done together this past year with our partners in planning and development, our partners in streets, our partners in water, our partners at parks, all of our different departments. None of this stuff would have happened without your leadership, without our city manager, without Deputy City Manager Chan sitting next to me, without all of our partners in the City Hall building and outside the City Hall building. That's what allows the City of Phoenix to be such an incredible place, is we all work together and all of our partners come around the table, our city departments come around the table to solve these challenges. So we look forward to next year. We are we've talked to you over this last year. We've listened to what your priorities are. You see them coming up on the screen. We've used those as our base to augment the plan that we already have in place, and that's attracting jobs in our base industries and working with our existing companies and bringing new development. So we've heard these as your strong priorities. Our focus, of course, for this year will be lots of jobs in business retention, business expansion. We know how important retail and fun entertainment is to you. We're so excited for Rushplex and Fat Cats, and Councilwoman Stark has one coming in her district that is just announced this last week. Our sit-down restaurants, we've heard a lot from our citizens. They want more sit-down restaurants. But interestingly enough, what has bubbled to the very top are hospitals. We have areas of our city that don't have adequate health care. They are areas that need new hospitals, that need any hospital. And we're working diligently with our hospital CEOs to expand those in the area and see that as a great priority for us in 25-26. If we look at our action plan, it is, as we've had it, to target strategic growth in our businesses, work with our existing companies to help them grow, drive expanded economic and cultural opportunities with our international activities, a sustainable economic core here in the Central City, continue moving forward with our competitive advantage, continue moving forward with our skilled workforce. That will be the key to Phoenix's future and its diversification, is our workforce. looking at revitalization of our redevelopment areas all over the 517 square miles. I think this year you'll see us over the next 5 years, a lot of focus on South Central, on South Mountain, in the areas that now with light rail have tremendous opportunity. Robust retail and entertainment centers. We've heard a lot, local restaurants, and as I said, sit-down restaurants, continuing to enhance the squad that you see in front of you here today. Improve our market with our sister departments in speed and collaboration as we do so well. Enhance our healthcare and hospital opportunities that are outside the hospital service territories today, working our education and workforce programs, and then bringing more requests for proposals of city-owned land sites forward. So, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, we thank you so much for allowing us time today to go through, under your guidance and leadership, and often your humor and working so hard together and your diligence to bring forward the activity of the City of Phoenix, all of our teams brought forward over 24-25. And of course, with that, we're happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you so much, Chris, and thank you to all of you who are here today to present this incredible story about how the City of Phoenix has grown from those original 5 Cs and to what was a terrible time during the Great Recession, where we learned once again, and probably even more difficultly, if I'm going to make up some words while I'm doing this, that we could no longer just depend on those areas of economy for our citizens and our families. And I am thrilled to be here today and be able to pick up the baton of the leaders who had the foresight and walked the difficult path of saying, how do we reimagine the economy of Phoenix? And 5 years ago, it was dirt up in my district where TSMC was, a lot of desert, a lot of, just nothingness. And now it is amazing to see what has grown and the jobs that are available. And I think, Chris, you gave a presentation yesterday morning to the USMCA group that is getting together quarterly. And how much more can somebody make in salary today than they did 10 years ago in Phoenix?
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, in 2014, the average salary of a job attracted to the City of Phoenix was $30,000. Close of May of this year, the average salary of a job attracted is $84,000.
So that is just incredible work and incredible news for helping to lift up our families. Additionally, Chris and I both grew up here, as many of you have as well, right? If you were a Phoenician, you were a rare sighting. And so, as Chris explained yesterday to the group, we had a lot of brain drain, right? We went to great colleges, ASU, U of A, NAU, Grand Canyon, and then had to go elsewhere for jobs. So this is wonderful to let people keep staying here if that's what they want to. And I want to talk a little bit about keeping, because you have attracted incredible businesses, and we have a lot of small businesses in Phoenix, entrepreneurs, and I've said small businesses are often the backbones of our economy too. But whether you are small, big, medium, what does your team do to keep the companies that were already here and that you have attracted to be here?
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, our team likes to say small business is big business in Phoenix, because it really is. We have 100,000 total businesses in Phoenix, but 80,000 of them employ less than 5 people. So 5 or less people. So it's huge for our economy. So we have a business retention expansion visit program. We go out and meet with. We try to get to about 800 companies a year. We go out and meet with them, and it is whether it is 2 or 3 individuals, all the way up to, Banner Health has 11,000 employees here. So the gamut of everything in between. Pam Lindley, who's here in the audience, she leads a program called Phoenix Biz Connect. We've transferred our partnership with our Neighborhood Services Department. So often our wonderful Neighborhood Services Department team knows where those small and micro businesses are, even better than economic development, because they're in that market all day, every day, working with you, working with your community partners. So our Phoenix Biz Connect, which is our hub program, is a website that our small businesses can go to. We can help them. It's mentorship programs, it's grant programs. It can teach somebody how to write a business program. What we find when we work with a lot of our small, let's call it restaurants, when you go to meet with them, they don't even know how much it costs them to produce an item on their menu, but they're selling it for $8 or $9 or $10. So the Phoenix Biz Connect, the hub, can help them really break that down. Local First works on that front and works diligently with those companies to help them really understand how to benefit from that. So those small businesses are key. Councilman Stark, when we were working together on 32nd and Shea and the widening and all the work that was going along in there, our small businesses really were struggling. And Councilman Stark would go out with us. We'd meet, one of our colleagues would go out, Pam Lindley, and meet with them and help them make those connections and find that. And I would tell you now that we didn't lose a single business during that process. It's a really big deal for us.
Wonderful, and I do appreciate all of that work, because it is amazing what our small businesses do for our community. We are grateful for the big businesses that come and the corporate headquarters. It takes all of us to be together, but I wanted to make sure that all of our companies know that we appreciate every single one of them, no matter their size, and that we are here to help them and provide them resources. We're merely a phone call or an email away. And then I'd like to touch, and I apologize because I don't remember who was talking about it. I think it might have been Nathan, it might have been Zandon. Dress for Success announced. So I know what Dress for Success is, but I think this is an incredible nonprofit, and if you could just explain it to our citizens.
Yes, Dress for Success is, as you noted, they are an incredible organization. Their whole mission is to uplift our community and provide resources. And so the term Dress for Success is the idea. They provide clothing, high quality clothing for folks, and it's focused on women, for job interviews. And so often there are many people in our community who don't have the resources to have the clothing that they need to really, feel their best, feel 100% when they go into a job interview. And so Dress for Success, kind of bridges that gap. And then they have extended to other services as well beyond that. So that's where their core is, and their whole purpose is to build up our community and help with hiring.
Right. And I have dropped off some clothes at their location, but I'm excited to know that they will be at Park Central, which I think will be an easier place for people to get to and have access to them. You also touched on our growth in the urban core and the dollars spent in our transit-oriented communities. We just had the grand opening of the South Central Light Rail, and so I'm going to ask that investment along that area hasn't yet quite come. Is that correct?
That's correct, but it's coming.
Right. So we have it's brand new, and so we anticipate over the next 5 years, how many more dollars to come along that stretch of the light rail, do you believe? I promise not to write it in cement anywhere.
It would be very difficult to come up with an estimate of the actual investment, but I can tell you we are working on multiple projects right now, and as we're out talking to the community, we've started talking to a number of community stakeholders along South Central who are very, very interested in how can they be a part of this, and how can they help to contribute to this. At the same time, a really key priority for that community is making sure that they're not displacing what's there. So there are a lot of small businesses along South Central. So finding a way for those businesses, finding a way for the residents who are there today to be a part of that is a critical thing for those communities. But we absolutely see some pretty significant development coming along South Central.
That is incredible. I know it's very exciting for that community. And the last thing I want to hit on, because you talked about the workforce, and where did it go? our internship program with TSMC, and then there are 2 others, and the pipeline of our kids. And so I'd love to have you all come back in maybe the fall, or we could put it on a future agenda item to talk about how we further develop those relationships with our school districts, because it's lovely to talk to our kids that are in college. I guess I should call them adults because they're adults in college, but I think if we don't get them when they're in 5th and 6th grade and junior high, we're really missing an incredible opportunity. And how do we work with our school districts, our charter schools, but the whole group to say, this is what's out there, and educate our children. And so if we could get an update on those relationships and how we're making sure those skill sets would be fabulous. I'll turn to my colleagues. If you, Councilwoman Stark.
Thank you. I want to talk a little bit about tourism, and I think that's important to our economy as well. And I didn't really see it as a strategy in your goals. Is how do you work? And maybe it's more of the convention center's arena to talk about tourism, but I think it's important. I wish we'd had the light rail to South Phoenix when my National Planning Conference was here, because I think it would have been wonderful to show off South Mountain Park. It is something to brag about, being the largest urban park. But what do you do with the convention center or Visit Phoenix? And John, you may know this is just as much as Chris does, but I'm really curious as to why we really don't show that as a goal.
Madam Chair, Councilwoman Stark, absolutely. So we partner very closely with economic development. The lead, of course, is the Convention Center. Mr. Harper, who's the director of the Convention Center, and then Mr. Price, the CEO of Visit Phoenix. We work very closely with them on the different conventions that they're bringing in. We're working, Mr. Price is helping us in Levine as Councilman Hodge Washington is leading the effort to bring a new destination resort, which brings new tourism, brings people in to enjoy, to your point, your planning conference would have loved South Mountain. The strategic roadmap that we have for the tourism, the strategic roadmap that we have for tourism is we're execute and follow that under Convention Center and Visit Phoenix's lead. So it is a strong pillar of our activity, and we act in a supporting role to those 2 agencies. But I would agree with you, when you look at tourism from an economic development side, you never know. When we meet with a company, you never know what was that thing that brought them here. Or they learned first. Were they here for a vacation and they golfed? Did they come to the National Planning Conference? Did they come to a trade show that was here? Did they land at Sky Harbor to go to Grand Canyon? And that's what started that activity. So I don't think you have tourism without economic development, and I don't think you have economic development without tourism.
Yeah, and I would think as you look in the downtown area at the entertainment district, it would behoove us to look at some kind of museum or something. I know we have the Herd, and that really captures a lot about the Southwest. But I think there's a lot more maybe we can showcase, and I think when people come to cities, they want to see and experience the culture of the city. And I know we have talked about Hispanic cultural center. And has there been any further discussion about that, or is that kind of fallen flat?
Madam Chair, Councilman Stark, no. Mitch Machanga, our Arts and Culture Director, is leading that activity and effort. Our citizens, as you know, funded that during the 2023 bond program, and he is working with City Manager on beginning to get ready to propose some potential sites to the City Council. So that's moving forward as well. And you talk about the richness of the history of Phoenix. I think about, the Hohokam Indians, and I think about the canals that they found, and I think about how that they built, and you think about how life came to Phoenix. You look at our arena alone, sees 2.2 million visitors every single year that come in and out of our Phoenix arena, our PHX arena. So that activity, downtown Phoenix, really, to your point exactly, that museum, that thing that tells people about what they're seeing in Phoenix. I agree with you. When I travel to trade shows in the evening, that's one of the things I love to go to, is learn more about the community that I'm in for the trade show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Stark. Councilwoman Hodge Washington.
Thank you, Chair. I want to start off again by recognizing the Office of Community Economic Development for your ongoing work to drive meaningful growth across Phoenix. In District 8, we have seen the impact firsthand. We were preparing just to do some analysis on here. We know that over $1.5 billion worth of investment in new investment and thousands of jobs were created in the past 2 years just in our district. And we know it would not have been accomplished but for the efforts of your department. So we wanted to start off by saying thank you for that. We know we have a couple of exciting upcoming items such as the new CAMI Biomedical Hub, the expansion of the Phoenix Bioscience Core, and one of my fan favorites, the transformative Gila Foothills Project in Laveen. These developments aligned with the needs and the aspirations of our community. I also wanted to highlight what I believe to be a proactive approach to our retail and restaurant access. With your partnership, we were able to launch a community-driven survey in our South Mountain Village to ensure future development reflects what our residents actually want. But I want to talk a little bit about some of these goals, some of the goals that are set forth here, specifically number 12 and 13, because I think they closely align, and I just want to talk a little bit about, and it's no secret, they align with things that we have been working together on, and I just want to highlight the need to continue to stress the need for these items in our area. And I am a little competitive, and if I'm nothing else, I'm an advocate for District 8, so I'm trying to ensure that I hit all of my buttons. So I want to talk a little bit about what are our plans to attract a medical facility in our South Mountain Village. It is an area that I hear quite a bit from my community. We have started the conversations through the partnership with the department. We have meetings that are set up. We realize this is not just my residents' needs. This is actually also, fire has explained the concerns that happen when we don't have access to our immediate medical facility. Same thing with our police officers. And we know minutes can mean the difference between life and death in certain situations. So I just want you to kind of share for me, especially for my residents, what are we doing to let them know we've heard them and we are working on it. And for me, I can't say I have the best hospitals in the northern part of District 8 and I have an absence in the lower part of District 8. So I have to be able to let them know that we are doing our part and there is an intentional plan to move this forward.
Madam Chair, members of the Subcommittee, Councilwoman Hodge Washington, and I'm a little embarrassed to say that before you and I started this exercise to really look at where those hospitals were at, I did not understand the hospital desert that really existed south of I-17, and I'm embarrassed to admit that. We sit through some of our budget meetings with Laveen, and the number of people that live south of I-17 in the South Mountain area that I've heard during our public meetings that have had their babies in their car trying to get to St. Joe's or trying to get to Banner or trying to get to another hospital really has lighted the passion in me that you have to be able to bring quality health care south of I-17 in that area. What we've been working on, and when you brought that to our attention and we took a look and went, oh my gosh, how did we miss this? We do not have a hospital from I-10 all the way over to the 202, from I-17 to South Mountain. It's an area that services almost 200,000 people, and a hospital moves into a territory when there's 100,000 in population for service. So what we did was we surveyed the area, we did a demographic study, a population study. We really showed the companies that were in the area, and we have now sent that information to all of the leading hospital CEOs in Phoenix. We have set up meetings with those hospital CEOs. You've had one meeting, you have your next meeting coming up with the next one to really make that pitch as to this dearth, this lack of hospital and quality health care in the market. We've talked to those hospital planning organizations about, don't look at us coming in with a 200-bed hospital right from the beginning. Let's start with 20 beds or 25 beds or 30 beds. Let's plan for a full-size, full-scale hospital, but if we need to do 20 beds in an emergency room and an LDR and MRIs and x-rays and things, so children and adults can have that quality health care within that 5-minute span of their home or 6 or 7 minute span of their home, not a 35-minute span of their home. So we've cataloged the existing buildings that are vacant that could easily convert into a hospital. You've seen those. I don't want to tip our hand for a landlord to raise the price of their building if we try to move forward, but we've got a couple, particularly one that is an absolute gem that could be a phenomenal opportunity. But we've also cataloged the land sites that we've showed to all 4 large hospital planning teams here in Phoenix, and we are planning to be relentless. As people know, this team does not take no for an answer. This is something that our citizens deserve, and you've called it to our attention. And working with you, your constituents, your citizens south of I-17 should rest assured that we all will not rest until they have a hospital, and we are pushing hard to make that happen. This is a market that it meets all of the demographics, it meets all of the population needs, it meets the payor needs of a hospital, and that is our goal and objective.
And thank you for that thorough explanation. It's been a passion project for me, and you have helped me to be able to craft a plan. And I think it's just helpful for our residents to know that although they have not seen it tangible, that I wanted them to hear that I have heard them, that we've been working on it, and we have a plan. So I thank you for taking the time to go through those steps. And I have no doubt that I have the best department working on this, to help us get this, then we'll get this accomplished for our residents. But I want them to know that it's just not, because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. It continues to be an area that we hear of need, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to stress it and to show that it is in the works. And I look forward to seeing it as part of our successes next year, because I believe if you got to aim for the sun as you be amongst the stars. So let's just continue to move that forward. I also wanted to talk a little bit about just trying to get some prioritization for the South Mountain Tech Corridor. As you mentioned, the 5 Cs here in Arizona has merged into the 6 Cs of Arizona. And I just want to make sure that when we are speaking to potential companies about availability, that my Levine South Mountain Tech Corridor is still offered as an option. I know you're still doing that, but I think it's helpful, again, for the community to hear that this is an active part of it. We're just not leaving that area to the likes of simple data center or something that it does not yield the high-wage jobs that we want to see for our community. So if you'd like to take a minute or two to explain.
Madam Chair, Councilman Hodge-Washington, absolutely. Under Mr. Wright's leadership and his team's leadership, that is an area that we feel incredibly strongly about bringing. At the South Mountain Technology Corridor. It sits halfway between the East Valley and the West Valley. And when you think about the number of our citizens, if memory serves, it's 80% of our citizens go east of I-17. The West Valley citizens go east of I-17 to go to work every day. It's a significant number. The workforce is built in, the activities built in. The freeway went in, and we got everything rezoned for industrial and office and research and development, and we got SRP to come in and build a substation, so we went from residential power into advanced manufacturing power. We brought in United Foods International, which doesn't sound like a technology company, but it is as tech as it comes with what they do in their building with robotics and information technology and in producing products, and that is a key for us. It is, I don't like going to the Levine meetings only because I don't get to look at them and tell them about new advanced manufacturing that's coming in their corridor. So it is number 1 or number 2 on our hit parade as we are bringing in technology companies. There isn't a tech company that comes in that we market to that the Levine Technology, the South Mountain Technology Corridor is not shown to as a great opportunity. It has a tremendous workforce. I mean, the retail that's coming in with Levine Town Center and the retail coming in Gila Foothills and Levine Park Place. There's places for lunch, places for daycare, places for their employees to live, and such great vistas and views and easy ingress egress. It is, to your point, not letting the data centers take all of the land that we had planned for at Ultimate Build Out, 80 to 100,000 jobs through that corridor at Ultimate Build Out, and that is still our mission. Our citizens can rest assured and take heart. We are moving heaven and earth to beat all of the lower employment sectors into that corridor to ensure that they have good jobs in close proximity to their homes.
Thank you. The other thing I was going to ask you to kind of expound a little bit on the efforts, but you a little bit in the conversation with my other colleagues regarding the destination resort for the Gila foothills, because there are residents that are concerned that they're, again, not being privy to all of the traction that is being done or the conversation that's being done on this. Would you like to share anything about regarding our, I know there's limitations, but is there anything you can share to show that we are still moving forward? It has not been placed on the back burner?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to share this one. So first thing that we did was create a strong marketing strategy. This is handled, again, under Mr. Wright's leadership and his team. We brought an individual on board whose job every day is to wake up and think about getting us a resort at that location. But we created an entire marketing strategy, an entire brand. We kind of handpick, and again, as we work with the Phoenix Convention Center and Mr. Ron Price, the CEO of Visit Phoenix, Mr. Price brought us a resort. Right after we made the announcement, he heard the Gila foothills. He brought us this incredible resort. We took the individual out. We drove in the city vehicle. We went over all the bumps and all the canals and got right to the base of South Mountain. We got him out of the car, turned around, and he's the one who made the comment, not us. It started to sprinkle on us. And he said from his experience, when it sprinkles on a first site tour, it's good luck. And so I'm sticking with that one, that it's good luck. He turned around and said, how did I be so fortunate to find this site with no one else looking for it? And we said, because we were waiting for you. And so he's had site tours. They've been out innumerable times. They've brought a delegation of 15 out. They met in the 20th floor conference room of Phoenix City Hall, drawing out their plans with architects, working things through. We have one hiccup. Now we didn't put all our eggs in one basket. We have 4 others that we're nurturing along as well, but we're kind of married to it sprinkled on the first tour, and it's the resort that we want. There was one challenge that they had. I am very pleased to tell you at this moment that our city departments work together. Mr. Don Brown, who runs our annual facilities permit, Nate mentioned to him what our problem was. He came up with a solution. We called Mr. Price this morning, and Mr. Price said, I love it. We should go back in and pitch it to them. He's a longstanding colleague of this particular resort. So the issue that we had, which was the golf course, may have found the solution. And so we're putting our maps together. We may be sticking you on a plane with us momentarily to fly to close this deal. So there is the first one that we want. We love others. We think others are wonderful, but we'd really like to run this one to ground. And if not, I was at the Living Village on Monday, and I gave them my word over my dead body, were we not getting a resort at that location. It has not been placed on the back burner. We have an individual on Mr. Wright's team who that is his sole job right now, is to ensure that we have a resort there that is a nice place where you can take mom on Mother's Day.
And I apologize, Mr. Wright, Nathan, for not allowing you to, I was just conversing with Chris, but you can feel free to add anything you want us to share about this. As you know, it's one of my pet projects, and you've been helping us along the way, so please feel free to add.
Nothing really to add, but just very excited for what we've been working on today, and I have a lot of confidence on what we've seen that we're going to be successful here.
And great to hear that. I have a couple more. I'm wrapping up my little list of questions that I wanted to just make sure we had some clarity on. I think many times our residents don't know all of the things that are going on, and they make up their own stories. So this gives us an opportunity to dismiss those myths. So I wanted to also recognize and say, I noticed one of the statistics you guys did not share. I didn't hear it. If I drifted off, I apologize. But Phoenix is one of the nation's top draws for corporate headquarters in the U.S. We rank number 4, and I know that is not by happenstance. I know that's by intentional action. So I just wanted to say a special kudos to you guys for that, because that definitely helps us to continue to be the market where individuals want to come. We are seeing the proof is in the pudding, as they say. We see them coming. I have a question. The 10,442 jobs that were added in the last year, that is truly commendable. I think it's helpful for it to explain to our community how many of these jobs are accessible in terms of transportation, wages, and skill sets to our existing residents, and more importantly, those residents that need that upward mobility. Whoever wants to take a swing at that. I know it's a lot.
Sure, they all look at me. Madam Chair, Councilman Hodge Washington, that's what's been so, when you look at the 5 areas that we truly recruit to in advanced manufacturing and fintech and finserv and emerging technologies and international and biosciences, when you look at those, we selected them quite intentionally. Number one, it's where we have the largest relationships with our universities and our community college and our certification programs coming out of our high schools. So we know when they graduate, they're going to have a job. Lisette and I like to joke that if you're coming in to be trained for an underwater basket weaver, there are only 2 underwater basket weaving jobs in the state of Arizona. So we're not going to train you for underwater basket weaving. We're going to train you for jobs that are there. And so getting those jobs, not only those jobs that we attracted, those 10,442, and those are all base industry jobs. Those are not construction jobs. Those aren't hospitality jobs. They're not retail jobs. Not that those aren't wonderful jobs. We count those in a separate sector. But these jobs, the reason that we select those jobs is their economic multiplier. So while you might have, let's use an advanced manufacturing job in aerospace. If you're not an aerospace engineer, or you're not an engineering tech, or you're not a designer in aerospace, or an assembly in aerospace, you start to think, oh, I'm not going to have a job in that area. But there are, for each aerospace job that comes in, there's 4 other jobs that come in to support those jobs, whether they're in assembly, whether they're in transportation, whether they're in the original prefabrication, whatever they're in. And those are the reason that we pick those, so that they are accessible to all of our citizens. All of our citizens deserve a quality job, not just those who have a doctor before their name or who have an MBA after their name. All of our citizens deserve that good job. And that's Lisetta and her team and our human services team. That's what they work towards under the guidance of our WIOA programs, our Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act grant programs, but also all of the programs that the City of Phoenix does, whether it's in internships and apprenticeships in our streets department, or in our electrician program, or in our recently incarcerated and out of the justice system. The City of Phoenix steps up themselves to make that happen. When we look at those transportation corridors, the City Council's guidance to economic development, to planning, as we're creating our general plans, as we're creating our area plans, those jobs are well situated either on bus lines, they're on our light rail lines, they're on our freeways. They're usually pretty easy for most of our citizens to get to, but we also don't want to leave out our citizens who might struggle with transportation access. Lisetta's team and our human services team actually have access to bus passes. So as we're bringing in companies and working on training the workforce for those companies, we'll also work even with our existing companies. We had one just last year that we worked with them, Lisetta did, and her team, to bring bus passes in. And we were able to fund bus passes to get people in so they could start their paychecks rolling, so they could start money coming in, and then start to buy their own bus passes. So we think about those things as we're bringing in companies. Also, we look at it from a school district standpoint. We look at our high schools. Back in the day, it was always thought you're going to graduate high school, you're going into college. These days, more than 60% of the jobs don't require a high school degree. So it's catching those kids in, as was talked about, in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, high school, getting them on a path of what's something that excites you, what's something we can help with. Lisetta and her team are amazing in working with these kids to help identify what are those really interesting paths we can work with. We work with our superintendents of our high schools across the city to be able to bring in, Lisetta goes with me, we meet with those superintendents, our business attraction team goes and meets with us, and work together to put those strategies together. So I think for our citizens, it's so important to note that it's not just about those $130,000, $140,000 a year jobs. It's about bringing a good livable wage to our citizens who want them. And if they're listening to this, they can find our economic development team on our website on investinphoenix.gov, and we can talk to them and help work them through of being able to get that training.
Thank you so much. Again, I think that given you guys have had, this department has had impressive results, and I think it shows that community and economic development do go hand in hand. They are actually partners, and I think it's impressive that while other cities have shrunk in their growth, we have been able to continue to increase our movement, and we are not only, it doesn't seem like we're stopping anytime soon. So I'm looking forward to seeing the successes for our 25 and 2026. So Job well done. Thank you, Chair.
And Madam Chair, and Councilman Hodge Washington, just really quickly, it is through the direction from this council and the city manager on diversifying our economy. I get together every 6 months with other large city economic developers we laugh and we cry and we talk about things that are happening and we talk to each other about best practices. I can tell you those dozen cities that we get together with aren't seeing the growth that we're seeing. And it really is the council's focus. You're there with us. You, as I said, you do trade shows, you go on trade missions, you meet with companies, you meet with delegations. And I'm the chief cheerleader of this city. That I can't make the difference that you make when you take your time to meet with these individuals. They know how important they are when you meet with them. And I just want to commend you for that.
Well, I thank you for the opportunity to allow myself sometimes to tag along on your missions, on your meetings, to give my let's go Phoenix. So great job, everyone. Again, thank you again, Chair.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hodge Washington. And I want you to know, and I think it's okay to speak on behalf of Councilwoman Stark, we fully support, and if you need us to help get a hospital in your area, please let us know how we can be helpful, because that makes me I'm sad to know that we have so many citizens in part of our city that don't have access to a hospital or good quality health care. So it is important to me that we help you or be there to help you solve that problem if you need us. I'm pretty sure that you've got a fabulous team. But
I will take all of the assistance I can get, because it's not about me. It's about making sure that we deliver for those residents. I also I hear many stories of individuals who have made simple choices about their delivery mechanism, the method of delivery for their child based on proximity to a hospital. And I think in 2025, we should not have to force individuals to make those types of healthcare decisions based on access. So, especially in the 5th largest city. So it's definitely one of my priorities, and I'm grateful for any support I can get to move that forward. And I know the department is behind me, and if the council is also behind me, it also makes it stronger. So thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you again all today for this incredible presentation. But I do want to take a quick point of personal privilege and thank my niece, Gabby, who joined us today. She is a 16-year-old junior at Sandra Day O'Connor High School. So she got to learn a little bit about the economic development of Phoenix today. So thanks for being here with us, Gabby. And thank you all for your time and your commitment and your hard work in making sure that the citizens of Phoenix and Phoenix as a city has a very, very bright future. So thank you again. Do we have anybody for call to public? We don't. Do we have any future agenda items?
Yeah, it's not an urgent priority, but I think it'd be nice to get an update on sister cities and some of the things they're working on, maybe looking at other cities, and just a kind of overview, because it's been a while since we really talked about the important function they do for the city.
Wonderful. So we have a future agenda item for Sister Cities update, and then, but no public comments. Wait, we have somebody who, are you signed up, sir? So, okay, you're supposed to sign up, but can we, yeah, if you could run back to the back real quick and give them your name, or is there someone here? Okay, yeah. you could just bear with us while we take care of some formalities. And I appreciate that. Yes, there is a process, and I appreciate you going
Yes,
back and
of course.
registering appropriately. And could you just please state your name for the record?
My name is Pete Colarelli, Colarelli. I felt inspired to speak tonight based on all the great things I heard. I'm a recent transplant to Phoenix from the Chicagoland area, and I've met Councilwoman Hodge Washington at our comprehensive plan ad hoc group for the city. So I work for Western Alliance Bank. That's what drew me out to Phoenix. It's one of the headquarters that Chris mentioned. Actually, Councilwoman Hodge Washington mentioned one of the headquarters here in Phoenix, 1,000 employees at Cityscape, and we're proud to be a part of the community, really invested and committed to Phoenix. But what I really wanted to talk about was the medical community here, and I wanted to bring a personal story to you to demonstrate how important that the development of the medical community is. My wife and I are, I'm coming to Phoenix. My wife and I are bringing 8 of our 10 children here as well. So there will be a massive influx of population very soon in Phoenix. We're leaving 2 behind. One is dating a young woman in Chicago, and so love is keeping him behind. But the second son that is staying behind just graduated from the University of Illinois, is very interested in the medical field in pediatric oncology, and I'm trying to recruit him to Phoenix. And I'm using all of the things that you talked about tonight as a means to do that. He's tempted to stay in Illinois because the story is that medical schools will more likely favor admitting someone if they live in that state. And so I'm trying to tell him to go out on a whim and get it done here in Phoenix. So I wanted to bring that story to all of you to demonstrate that all of this work has real results and creates real opportunities for real people. And so thank you for the council for all that you've done. Chris and her team, from the perspective of Western Alliance Bank, we feel as though they are an arm of our business. Our success is directly predicated upon all of the results of the work that they do. You've got a really all-star team here, and as Chris said appropriately, it's due to the great leadership at the City Council. So thank you for all that you do. My family and all of us in the Colarelli family, thank you for all of the hard work that you do. We felt really welcomed here in Phoenix, and we're looking forward to doing what we can to support the mission here with all of you. So have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, Mr. Colarelli, for sticking with us and getting signed up. And welcome to your wife and 8 of your children. We hope we can get 1 or 2 more. Give us a try. You don't know. This is what I tell you. This is the other thing you got to tell those kids. You don't have to shovel sunshine. So, yes, thank you so much for coming today. And with that, we are adjourned.